In 1944, Carl Jung, the pioneering Swiss psychologist who reshaped our understanding of the human mind, lay at the very threshold of death. As his heart faltered and ceased to beat, Jung slipped into clinical death, his breathing stopped and all signs of life faded. Yet death was far from the end. In those mysterious moments suspended between life and death, Carl Jung experienced something extraordinary, an encounter so vivid and profound that it would challenge the very foundations of psychology, spirituality, and even our collective beliefs about existence itself. Jung emerged from this near-death experience utterly transformed, replacing uncertainty with absolute certainty about one of life's greatest mysteries. Consciousness survives beyond death. But what exactly did Jung witness at death's doorway, and how did this brief glimpse into the afterlife alter his understanding so profoundly that he no longer merely believed but knew that life continues beyond our physical end? Immediately upon leaving his physical body, Jung described an astonishing sensation. He found himself effortlessly floating upward, drawn gently yet irresistibly towards a great expanse. Below him the earth appeared radiant, glowing brilliantly with an ethereal, luminous blue light that filled him with awe. In Jung's own profound words, "Far below I saw the globe of the earth, bathed in a glorious blue light unlike anything I've ever seen." At that precise moment, Jung encountered a truth he had pondered intellectually but never fully embraced: the reality of consciousness existing independently of the physical body. Always the analytical scientist, Jung had sought evidence for such profound truths throughout his life. Yet now evidence was something he could directly feel and vividly experience. This vision wasn't a fleeting hallucination, it was sharper, clearer, and felt more real than any previous experience he'd had while alive. Yet even as Jung marveled at the breathtaking clarity and undeniable authenticity of this vision, a question arose that he hadn't anticipated. Could this incredible experience genuinely be trusted, or was it merely the brain's final desperate illusion before fading into nothingness? Doubt briefly surfaced, but the sheer intensity and clarity of the moment overwhelmed all uncertainty. The experience felt not only genuine but infinitely meaningful, revealing that consciousness, pure awareness, could exist free from bodily constraints. Just as Jung began to grapple with the profound implications of this realization, he sensed something even more remarkable. He was not alone. As Jung drifted deeper into this remarkable state, he described encountering an immense luminous temple suspended in an endless cosmic expanse, a structure so brilliant and majestic it seemed to defy human description. It felt strangely familiar, as if it had always existed, quietly awaiting him at the edge of consciousness. Jung felt drawn irresistibly toward this glowing sanctuary, enveloped by an overwhelming sense of serenity and profound peace. Yet as he approached closer, he recognized a crucial and unmistakable boundary. To cross into this celestial temple would mean leaving behind the world of the living forever. In this moment, Jung was caught between two powerful forces. On one side was a yearning deeper than any he had ever known, a longing to enter this timeless place of ultimate understanding and eternal harmony. On the other was a clear sense of unfinished duty, lingering questions and responsibilities that bound him to life. Jung later vividly described this profound tension as the ecstasy of a non-temporal state. Past, present, and future were one. Just as he hovered at this threshold, contemplating eternity, an unexpected interruption shattered his moment of blissful contemplation. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared beside him, gripping his arm firmly and pulling him decisively back towards the living world. It was his physician, standing resolutely by his side, urgently compelling Jung to return. Jung initially resisted, desperate to remain in the realm of infinite knowledge, but the decision was beyond his control. Reluctantly, yet inevitably, He felt himself drawn rapidly away from the glowing temple, descending swiftly through the cosmos he had effortlessly ascended moments before. As he fell further away, a question burned intensely in Jung's mind. How could anyone return unchanged from an encounter with eternity itself? The moment Jung's consciousness reconnected with his physical body, he felt profoundly shaken, describing the experience as being violently thrust from paradise. The contrast was almost unbearable. He later confessed coming back was almost unbearable, capturing the depth of regret he felt at being torn away from a state of ultimate peace and clarity. Yet within this deep sorrow lay the seed of his most powerful insight, an understanding so profound that it transformed the rest of his life, profoundly reshaping his beliefs about psychology, spirituality, and human purpose. From that instant forward, Jung held an unwavering certainty that death was not the end but merely a transition, a doorway from one form of consciousness to another. He boldly declared, "I no longer believe I know." His profound vision didn't just reassure him, it replaced intellectual speculation with undeniable first-hand experience. For Jung, death ceased to symbolize annihilation. Instead, it became the ultimate transformation, a vital phase in the journey towards greater self-awareness and spiritual evolution. Jung integrated this extraordinary revelation deeply into his life's work, significantly enriching concepts such as the collective unconscious and archetypes. His vision provided him unparalleled insight into why cultures universally share powerful narratives of rebirth, transformation, and existence beyond physical death. In Jung's view, these universal themes emerge precisely because the human psyche intuitively understands the continuity of consciousness beyond mortal life. Yet Jung's revelation carries powerful personal implications, especially for those grappling with existential anxieties or facing midlife uncertainty. For many, especially men approaching middle age, feelings of regret, anxiety, and a sense of unfulfilled potential can dominate their inner lives. Jung's experience offers profound reassurance. Perhaps the purpose of life isn't measured by worldly success or material achievement, but by authentic, courageous living, free from crippling fears about mortality. If death is not the end, perhaps our deepest anxieties lose their power, allowing life itself to become a conscious preparation for something even more meaningful. As Jung succinctly articulated, the unconscious psyche believes in life after death. It knows death is not the end. Could embracing this revelation not only ease fears about mortality, but also fundamentally change how we approach life itself, shifting our perspective from mere survival to purposeful and authentic living? Before exploring this further, consider deeply, has Jung's extraordinary journey begun to reshape how you perceive your own existence, purpose, and fears about mortality? Hold that reflection closely, because the insights to follow offer even deeper revelations about how to live fearlessly in the face of life's greatest uncertainties. Carl Jung's profound vision was not simply the extraordinary experience of one man. It carries significant implications that extend directly into your life. Consider for a moment the anxieties, regrets, and unanswered questions that quietly surface as we journey through middle age. Perhaps you've asked yourself privately whether you've truly fulfilled your potential, or questioned whether the life you're living genuinely reflects who you hoped you'd become. Jung's insight, his absolute certainty that consciousness survives beyond physical death, challenges you to rethink the fundamental assumptions underpinning these anxieties. Instead of viewing existence as a race to achieve before time expires, Jung's vision invites you to live courageously, authentically, and meaningfully, knowing that death is not annihilation but the doorway to deeper understanding. This insight aligns closely with wisdom echoed by some of history's greatest philosophers. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, urged himself daily, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Jung's experience provides vivid, modern reinforcement to this ancient truth, challenging the way we respond to mortality. If death represents continuity rather than an ending, the very anxieties that limit our potential begin to dissolve. Suddenly, life becomes less about accumulating fleeting successes or material validation, and far more about embracing authentic purpose and meaningful connection with others. Yet this powerful message is not confined to philosophy alone. Jung's vision aligns remarkably with modern research into near-death experiences. Dr. Raymond Moody, whose pioneering work transformed our understanding of NDEs, documented striking consistencies among thousands of reported encounters similar to Jung's. People consistently described experiences of profound peace, deep interconnectedness, and vivid encounters with states of consciousness beyond physical existence. Jung's experience fits perfectly into this extensive tapestry of evidence, reinforcing that his vision was neither random nor hallucination, but part of a broader human phenomenon experienced by many. This deeper understanding carries a compelling personal challenge for you. Could embracing Jung's insight free you from the anxieties that quietly dictate your life? Could fears about mortality, insignificance, or personal failure become less terrifying when seen as invitations to grow rather than threats to your existence? If consciousness endures beyond death, perhaps the greatest risk isn't dying, but failing to live authentically. How different might your life become if you integrated this insight fully into your daily actions, interactions, and goals? Jung himself offered a powerful insight that challenges us profoundly. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. Reflect on this carefully. If Jung's vision is true, what anxieties, regrets, or fears would you release today? Would you allow yourself to live more consciously, more courageously, and more authentically? No longer dictated by fears, but guided by the promise of an existence that continues beyond death itself. Consider deeply now how this insight could transform your life. Would it reshape your ambitions, your relationships, your very definition of success and fulfillment? Keep these questions in your mind closely as we move forward, because what comes next reveals how Jung's powerful insight might forever alter the way you live each and every day. Throughout human existence, death has stood as our greatest mystery, shrouded in anxiety and uncertainty. Carl Jung's profound near-death experience provided an unprecedented glimpse behind that mysterious curtain, not revealing darkness, but illuminating a doorway of astonishing clarity and meaning. Jung discovered that life and death were not opposed but deeply intertwined, each lending profound significance to the other. This wasn't mere philosophical speculation, it became tangible reality for Jung, a truth he personally encountered, unmistakably clear, profoundly reassuring. Consider for a moment how your own life might transform if you deeply internalized Jung's realization. Death is not the end, but a powerful transition. Rather than fearing it as annihilation, could you instead embrace it as an integral part of existence, filled with possibility and growth? Jung himself, having experienced consciousness beyond physical existence, declared unequivocally, "I no longer believe, I know." This wasn't abstract theory, it was tangible certainty, rooted deeply in personal experience. Jung's insight aligned strongly with the broader human experience documented through extensive research into near-death phenomena, affirming a universally reported truth. Consciousness often continues in a deeply meaningful way beyond physical life. Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a pioneer in researching death and dying, found remarkable consistency in accounts shared by people who returned from clinical death. Her research reveals parallels strikingly similar to Jung's vision. Consistently described were feelings of extraordinary peace, profound connection, and encounters with an existence that surpasses ordinary life. These widespread and credible reports provide compelling evidence that Jung's experience wasn't isolated, further affirming that he touched a universal human truth, echoed across countless accounts from diverse cultures and backgrounds. This knowledge fundamentally challenges the anxieties that subtly shape our daily lives. At midlife, existential doubts about legacy, significance, and missed opportunities frequently take center stage. Yet Jung's vision asks you a crucial question. What if our deepest fears, mortality, irrelevance, failure, are actually doorways to greater self-awareness and purposeful living? Instead of being paralyzed by these fears, could you embrace them as opportunities for transformation, clarity, and genuine authenticity? This profound shift echoes ancient teachings from philosophers who understood that frequent contemplation of mortality can liberate us from superficial anxieties. Seneca famously advised, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." Jung's vivid experience confirms this timeless wisdom, giving us compelling evidence that consciously reflecting on death can dramatically deepen our appreciation of life itself. Imagine living each day free from existential dread, every challenge seen not as a threat, but as an opportunity to grow. Jung returned from death's threshold, no longer bound by trivial anxieties. He lived authentically, consciously, and fearlessly, inspiring thousands to reconsider their own relationship with mortality and purpose. His remarkable revelation invites you directly. Could life's greatest uncertainty, death itself, become your most powerful motivation to embrace each moment fully? Reflect deeply on how differently you might live if you genuinely accepted Jung's profound insight as true. Would you pursue deeper authenticity in relationships, compassion in your interactions, and genuine purpose in your ambitions? Would the anxiety-driven pressure to succeed materially or socially finally lose its grip? Pause now and internalize this powerful question. If death truly isn't the end, how would you choose to live today? Jung's vision may become your greatest ally in transforming fear into courage, uncertainty into meaningful exploration, and anxiety into profound self-understanding. Consider deeply how this revelation might transform the course of your life, because the clarity and freedom Jung discovered are now within your grasp, offering the possibility of a life lived without fear, defined by courage, authenticity, and genuine purpose. Carl Jung's extraordinary journey beyond the boundary of life and death wasn't merely a personal revelation. It is an urgent invitation for each of us to redefine the way we approach our existence. Jung returned profoundly transformed, his perspective forever altered. Death was no longer something to fear. Instead, it became the catalyst for courageous, authentic living. His message resonates powerfully, especially for those grappling with midlife anxieties, quietly asking themselves whether the life they lead genuinely matches their deeper purpose. Consider for a moment your own relationship with fear. How often have anxieties about failure, irrelevance, or death itself subtly guided your choices? Jung's vision challenges this directly, urging you to recognize that life's purpose isn't merely survival or achieving social validation, but the authentic pursuit of meaning, self-awareness, and genuine human connection. If consciousness continues beyond physical death, and Jung's powerful experience emphatically suggests it does, then fear loses its power to control our lives. Imagine waking each morning guided by curiosity and purpose rather than anxiety. How profoundly could your relationships deepen, your ambitions transform, and your day-to-day existence become richer and more fulfilling? Jung famously affirmed, "Life really does begin at 40, highlighting midlife not as a moment of crisis, but as a profound opportunity for genuine transformation." His own near-death experience reinforced this belief profoundly, revealing that the fear of death isn't truly about dying. It's the fear of never having lived fully, authentically, and courageously. His insight echoes powerfully with Friedrich Nietzsche's memorable statement, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Jung's vision provides precisely this why, inviting each of us to embrace our existence courageously, freed from the shadow of mortality and the anxieties that arise from life's uncertainties. This transformative shift in perspective isn't easily made, yet it represents perhaps life's greatest opportunity. Jung himself embodied this change after his near-death encounter, living the remainder of his life with renewed clarity, authenticity, and purpose. His insight didn't remain private. It became the cornerstone of his later teachings, writings, and interactions, powerfully influencing countless individuals who confronted their own mortality with newfound courage. Reflect deeply on your own journey through life. Have you lived genuinely, driven by purpose, or have anxieties subtly limited your potential, guiding your choices quietly, yet decisively? Jung's profound insight directly challenges you. If you genuinely accepted that consciousness continues beyond physical death, how differently would you define success and meaning in your life? Would your interactions and relationships become more compassionate, your ambitions more authentic, your day-to-day existence less burdened by trivial worries? Consider the practical implications of this wisdom. Would you spend less time striving for fleeting validation and more time nurturing relationships, exploring meaningful interests, or contributing something genuinely valuable to others? Jung's revelation invites you to confront mortality not as a dreaded endpoint, but as an essential part of an ongoing journey, transforming your deepest fears into catalysts for profound growth, authentic living, and genuine understanding. Ultimately, Jung's powerful insight encapsulates humanity's universal search for meaning, purpose, and clarity. He declared, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." Take these words closely to heart now. Consider whether your greatest anxieties, mortality, irrelevance, personal failure, might be precisely the doorways to your deepest self-understanding and most courageous living. Carl Jung returned from death's doorstep with a profound, unwavering certainty. Life continues beyond the body. Consciousness transcends physical limitations, and fear, though natural, need not control our existence. Embrace his powerful realization and ask yourself once more, if death truly isn't the end, how will you choose to live from this moment forward? Hold on to this insight closely, for it might become the key to transforming your life from anxiety-driven survival to authentic, meaningful living every single day.